Your CV is your first point of contact with an organization. And some of the CVs I see are cut and paste jobs from the net. They've got about 40 adjectives, and you are, almost ready to be chairman and managing director of the company. Please never do that. CVs need to be written from the heart. They're a 2-page or a single-page document about you as a human being, and they need to be written in a way that is interesting and makes you interesting as a person. And I'm saying, don't make it gimmicky. Let it be very simple and plain, and let just what you do and what you know speak for itself.
You're obviously somebody who's done pretty well in your academics, somebody who's done pretty well in your social life, and that's the reason why you are in IIMB today. And so therefore, when you're getting out, you get that head start. You straight away walk into some of the best companies around but thereafter what you need to do is obviously to build characteristics of your own, whether what does a particular guy or a girl, what do you stand for, what are the kind of things that you're capable of, what are the kind of things that you can do in real life. So these are marks that you virtually initially probably hone them a little bit, and thereafter virtually wear it on your chest, so that people actually know that when it comes to a problem solving of this kind, this is the guy that we want to look at.
One of the things that I've realized, to do something substantial on a consistent basis, it just takes time. Because the world operates at a pace and you operate at a pace, and anything is dependent on people finally. And I see a lot of people wanting career shifts and different jobs at the end of 1 year, as if they've accomplished a lot of things, and that's just not real world, right? I mean, it takes time to do stuff.
And you need to listen, you need to adapt, and you need to learn. So my advice in the first year, be like a sponge, because even if you worked before, you're working in this organization for the first time, and the more you learn, the more effective you will be.
After finishing my IIMB with specialization in marketing, the temptation was always, doing a brand management was very sexy. Going onto the streets and selling and distribution management is very often, looked down upon as saying, this is a very, dirty and menial job. But the kind of learning that you have in operations, kind of experiences that you get when you're working with customers, the real customers on the ground, whether it's in sales, whether it's in operations, or it's on a production floor of a factory, I think those experiences go a long way.
And I would say a good point, mini inflection points in a career, on what I want to do next, happens anywhere between 3 and 4 years. At least that's what I have seen, and anything lesser you probably have not done full justice, or it probably was a fluke. Because to take something to real success, and that essentially means, if you're graduating at 24, 25, or earlier probably if you don't have experience, you're looking at careers as 3-4 year blocks in a way, and life also probably revolves around that, right? And some point in time, you probably get married, and you probably have a kid, then your home loan comes and stuff like that. So and in that trajectory, it just makes a lot of sense in the early part of your career to go for width more than depth.
I was very lucky because I fell in love with advertising in my second year in IIM, and I've never fallen out of love with it. But even that has changed over the years. So from the time I started my career to what it is today, advertising is so different, but I've changed with it. So now I understand that social media and digital media is going to be the order of the day. So I'm now a student of that, and communication the way I knew it from a TV commercial has become so all-pervasive. It's all P2P or peer-to-peer, and that's the area that I'm loving to work on, because it's just changing the way we look at stuff. So you have to be very adaptable.
Most importantly, don't be afraid of failing. I think very often people want to be successful, and therefore so obsessed with success. In fact, one of the things that I've always advised younger managers is fail as often as you can. I think most organizations are mature enough to let people fail. Yeah, surely don't fail on the same issue twice over, but I think failure actually gets you to learn a lot more, then what success can potentially give you.
People is very important, because unless you groom, mentor, coach, work with people, and you just can't get great stuff done, right? You can be the smartest Steve Jobs, but unless he had a Johnny Ive or his entire Tim Cook, he wouldn't have made Apple. And that's part and parcel of life. So you can be the strongest individual contributor. You just need to be able to work with a team.
I wish I'd had some more of the maturity. I was not very mature about people. I was fairly immature about people. I used to be very emotional about people. I get very emotionally involved with people, anyone who worked for me or with me and so forth. I've realized now that I need to be, I'm emotional, I continue to be emotional, I love people, but I've learned to detach. Because and as I got older, I realized I'm not everyone's mommy. So I've stopped being mommy to everybody, and it happens automatically with women. We tend to mother everybody around us, but I've learned not to do that. So my emotion, I've been able to control my emotions, so I'm much more objective now with what I do.
One of the things that I have always imbibed or adopted or done in my own life is to change when people ask you, why are you changing, rather than why aren't you changing.
When I started selling furniture online, I was not passionate about furniture, I was passionate about online. But today, in 2 years, after taking it to somewhere meaningful, I am a lot more about furniture. The first thing I go to a friend's house, I actually see the furniture. I was not like that 2 years back. So I think somewhere your interests develop over time, and you always keep learning, and it's not just a simple phrase, it is true.
If you can do a very honest SWOT on yourself, and only you can do it because you know yourself the best, and you don't need to put it on Facebook and tell everybody about it. Be private about it, because I think that's the best way, and nobody else's opinion is actually very important, it's only yours. Do a SWOT, then you realize what your personality type is, and I think this is a mistake a lot of us make. All of us would like to be Mukesh Ambani. For example, I'd love to be like Mukesh Ambani and have all that money to use, but Mukesh Ambani can take risks. Yeah, he can risk everything. I can't. And I always say that you've got white collar blood in your veins, then be very clear that you have white collar blood in your veins. It's not given for all of us to be an entrepreneur. So I think one of the things we never do with ourselves is understand ourselves thoroughly, and a SWOT is a lovely way to do it. So my point is, compete only with yourself. To sum it up, compete just with yourself, realize who you are, and then just go for it.